we concentrate on strongholds, you know.
Okay.
And when we do
even this
regional,
last poll is on strongholds.
No. This is
National.
nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide. So in November 1, when you look at the strongholds that you expect to do well, I mean, NPP wasn't doing so much well in their strongholds, and they were doing around 50 or 50%. And
that's what you observed.
That's what we observed from the polls. And by April, they had moved to around 60%.
And now?
And now they are doing around, as at 2nd November that we speak, they were doing around 61%. But when we do, if we show the demographics, you will see that there were those who will not vote.
Yeah.
You know, there are two segments of those who will not vote and those who are undecided. When we take that percentages out, you know, NPP is around 66.4% in Ashanti region. But then, as at last week, Thursday, our final polls were in, you know, and NPP has crossed the 70% margin. I mean, in Ashanti region. And you know, there are key things that we need to take serious, especially utterances and things that politicians say. You will remember that somewhere, I think in November, there was some part of NDC who were saying things about ex-president Kufuor. When you look at the dynamics in Ashanti region, there are two things they don't take for granted. Number one, they are chiefs. Number two, respected elderly people. That when you speak against their chiefs, no matter the difficulty they have, they'll set it aside and they'll come and settle with you.
No matter the difficulty they may have
the
with that chief.
The difficulty they have with themselves, whether with themselves or with the chief, they will put it aside and they will face you squarely.
That's how Ashantis are.
When you look at the dynamics. So since those utterances against Kufuor started coming, there were a lot of undecided voters in the Ashanti region. And now they are all shaping up. As of last week, that we received our last results, they have crossed from the 66.4%, they have crossed the 70% threshold, which means that it's going up and possibly by the next 2 or 3 days when we go to the poll, if all other things being equal, they are expected to maintain the 1 million differences vote that you were talking about earlier.
So if they keep it.
They are expected
and hold
to keep
it by the time counting starts.
Yes, we are expecting all other things being equal.
You sound very confident about your work.
Yes, because this is something we have monitored a trend over a period. It's not just a one-time study, you know, and starting from 50 and building up. And it also appears that when the NPP presidential candidate speaks or visits an area, it has a certain influence in people's perception
of him.
So
he gets a bump when he goes around.
He gets. And you see, when he went to Ashanti region, he spent quite some number of days there. It has actually improved the confidence in him. You know, so I think that political parties should be mindful of how they speak. You may be telling the truth. What you will say may be the reality, but if we don't go about it in a certain way, people misinterpret it differently and may not go in your favor.
So you will say that the vice president and the MPP candidates from your polls has demonstrated that he speaks convincingly.
Convincingly. And it shows that everywhere he has gone, when we conduct a poll afterwards, we see a surge in the number of votes.
You don't get the same for President Mahama?
Yes, we don't get the same because when one is winning, one is losing. Because as of last year, November, President Mahama was doing so much well in Ashanti region. And I think you mentioned that a good number of NDC leaders have gone into Ashanti region. Probably their internal polls is also telling them that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, which confirms what we are saying here.